Welcome to Rusty Rose Adventures. I'm Max and this is my rusty but trusty home on wheels, Rose. She's 30 years old, done 260,000 miles and spent years out of action before I gave her a second chance at life. After 8 months of restoration, I hit the road to chase my dream of travelling the world. For the past 2 years, I've explored the stunning landscapes of England, Wales and Scotland, but now it's time to take her further than ever. To make that happen, she needs a bit more TLC, starting with swapping the rear axle, changing the front springs and tackling some other small jobs. Let's dive in. Look at the owl over there. Good morning everyone. So yesterday was New Year's Day, which you can go check out what we did yesterday in last week's video, which is listed up in the card up here. However, what wasn't included was last night's Northern Lights display just here, north of us. And it was lovely. So I'll stick some pictures in that I took last night. That's the first ever time we've seen them by eye. You could actually see the purple sky. It was beautiful. So yeah, that's what happened yesterday. And now today, it's quite muddy in here. So I've got some pallets from down the road and I'm just going to stick them down so it's around like the axle. And then we're not standing in the mud, basically. And then the aim for today is to get that axle painted for stripping down, well, wire wheeling and then repainting. But while I'm doing the wire wheeling and stuff, I'm going to touch up one or two bits that need welding on the van, just from where I kind of pushed the line with how big a patch could be, and I welded to some rust which has inevitably come through. So there's a few bits to do, but she's pretty tidy overall, as I always say. So yeah, I'm going to take some things out of the way from here, put these pallets on the floor in there, and then get cracking, sticking the diff pan back on so I can wire wheel it and it doesn't contaminate it. And all of that stuff. So yeah, that's today's job. Right, we've got power here on the extension lead. I've got a grinder over there. And I've got two half shafts that need the bearing cut off them, which I'll show you again, because I did show you in last week's video. So what we're trying to do here, if I turn this round. Right, so this is the driver's side one. We've marked both of the half shafts, although I think this mark's come off, which is annoying. Oh no, there it is. D, drivers. This is the driver's side, the other one was the passenger side. The passenger side nut is reverse thread, so you turn it clockwise and it comes off. This one is normal thread. So yeah, just one thing to note there. But what I'm going to do now is find my smaller hammer, which is just over here, and I'm going to knock this locking washer down. And same on the other side. Okay, now hopefully, hang on, I'm doing that the wrong way again, aren't I? Yeah. Twat. Doing it the wrong way again. Oh well, there you are. So make sure you do it the correct way around. Driver's side is anti-clockwise to undo. Passenger side is clockwise to undo. So yeah, take this off and take the locking washer off. And then what we did last time was smash this into the bearing race, like so. And try and knock a bearing out. So if you look closely here, you can see that we started to smash apart this with a chisel, trying to get the roller bearings out. But now if we cut this along here, we can then get this selection of bars again and try and smash this apart. There we go. And then the bearings will just fall out. Or even better, just take it off the end. There you go. There go all the bearings. And we've got an outer race. You've got the nut and the locking washer, which you need to keep together. Make sure they are the right way round as well. And there is a little flat bit in the washer, so that it only goes in one way, but it is not symmetrical, so make sure you make note of which way that came off. And now that's hot, this should hopefully maybe pop off. I need to get one of these cold chisels. I just thought, why don't I use this? And then it just instantly came off. Boom. There we go. So I'm going to wire wheel all of this stuff up. There's new gaskets and seals for all of this because I burnt them with the blowtorch, but then realised I could have just pulled over the bearing race. But anyway, yeah, there we are. So that was nice and simple to get off. Okay, so my next aim is to clean up this old gasket on this diff pan cover and move that out of the way, and then I've got to clean this surface, and I've just got some RTV to stick around and then bolt it back on. I've got new bolts that I've put on my diff pan, so I'm probably going to put them on here, and then eventually, as I say, I'm probably going to keep this axle and do it up and maybe sell it or put it back on the van, because it's not actually that bad, and it'd be a waste of money getting rid of it. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of time and effort to take all that out and do it all, and to be fair, this might work better in the long run, I'm not sure, but it's certainly done less mileage anyway. So now we've got one nice clean shiny diff pan. I'm just going to lightly give this one a little clean up, try not to get too much in, and then I'm also going to use a rag to clean it off with some brake cleaner, just any bits of, you know, bits that might be in there, and try and get off some of the old oil because it's really thick and brown. It's not shiny, it was in good condition, but you know, just try and get rid of as much of it as possible. And then yeah, stick some gasket on and bob the plate back on. So I'm just going to crack on doing that quickly, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Right, so I'm going to just stick a bead of RTV all the way around, and then, as I said, just bob it on to the diff, which I've now cleaned and it's facing upright. The fill bolt goes to the right side of the axle, which is there, so it goes like that, because it's lower down. Yeah, it's slightly lower. So you're going to stick that on there, and then job's done. Of course I'm one short. well, that's that. I've ate away that whole wire wheel. So yeah, I've just cleaned back the axle. I'm about to do the anti-roll bar as well, although I don't have any wire wheels, so a flat disc it is, but luckily Charlie came and gave me a load, so thank you, Charlie. And yeah, so I'm just going to clean back that anti-roll bar, and then I've got the welder out and I'm going to weld two little bits that need welding on the van, but I probably won't show that. And then I've got some red oxide paint, just simple stuff on Screwfix, and I'm just going to slap a coat on the welds on the van and on here. And then that's going to be it for today. And then a bit more painting tomorrow. There's some black paint. I need to paint everything black. And then yeah, getting there. Hopefully have it on by mid next week. One of the pairs of U-bolts has arrived because I ordered them in pairs because I thought I only needed 2 at first, and then I used my brain and realised I need 4. So yeah. But yeah, we'll see how far we get in this video. This is basically going to be stripping down the axle, so I've shown you how to remove the wheel bearings. I've just wire wheeled it all, then I'm going to paint it, and then the new bearings should be turning up by Wednesday. Today is Saturday, so yeah, next few days we should get this done, and then in the next video we'll probably be putting it back under the van, giving it a test drive and spinning it round, and parking it back up to do the front leaf springs because I've ordered them, so they should be here in 10 days. So yeah, 10 days to get this all done, and then when the new leaf springs are here we can get all that, but I'm probably going to get this done in the next 7 days, to be fair, hopefully. Oh, also all of the bolts for the brake pipe clips are rusted, even on the 80,000 mile one. They were on mine, I didn't touch them, I pushed them into the plastic clips where they're broken a bit because they break, and then you can kind of push them in. They're a bit like a U clip then instead of a P clip. But they're all fucked on both of the axles, so on the one I'm stripping down I've cut all of them off because when you try and undo them they just shear anyway, they don't undo because they just rust. And I'm going to weld a new stud on there, an M6 stud. I've bought some brake pipe P clips, and I'm going to redo all of the brake pipe fittings basically and make it all pucker, because mine was just held around the axle with a cable tie because they round off and then you can't replace it with a P clip, and well, the only option is to just stick a cable tie around. But I'm going to, as I say, weld some bits on here while I've got the welder out, get all of that nice and looking good before I then paint it. So yeah, let's get on with some welding once I've stripped this anti-roll bar of paint as well. So there we are, anti-roll bar and axle all cleaned up, and I added the little studs for the brake T-piece to go on. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the little studs. You got one just there, another there, one there, and then one at the end as well. These are under the leaf springs. So yeah, but that is all the welding done for today. Sorry I didn't record it. My face and me is a mess. I'm completely dirty, been under the van. All of that stuff needs painting as well. I'll put a clip in from the little weld I did. It was just 2 cracks from my old welding that wasn't the best, and I did do the rear above the bump stops. I did them in a complete rush. They were the last bit of welding to be done. So that's all sorted now. It just needs a load of paint, and then while we're waiting for paint to dry tomorrow, which you'll probably see in the next clip, will be us, because I think Charlie's going to come down tomorrow, and we're going to try and get these half shafts out of my old axle and get the UJ swapped over, as well as a lot of painting done. But then we're on the home straight. Once the bearings turn up, we can get the half shafts back in the new axle and start getting it all rebuilt, ready to go back on the van. And Chelsea's just cooking some pasta, so I'm heading inside now. Oh, quick thing, you might have a quick question, what welder am I using? I'm using this Draper 2-in-1 MIG and stick welder, but gasless MIG, and it's really good, to be fair. It's 120 amp, it weighs 6 kilograms and is this big. Like when you look at it towards my hand, it's tiny. I can lift it with my finger. It's a great little welder for travelling around, but obviously it is gasless, so it doesn't weld the nicest, but it gets the job done. And yeah, that's the welder I use, just from Toolstation. And if it breaks, which this one has done before, then you just take it back and they give you a new one.
It'll take a week to dry this weather, isn't it?
Yeah, the Rust-Oleum stuff took fucking ages. I was there with the heat gun because I didn't have a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Warming up the chassis in December and then sticking paint on it. And they've got time lapse of me just going over the whole chassis.
They were having a last fire near it, couldn't you, try and warm it up a bit?
But I think this red oxide is quite fast drying stuff.
Yeah.
Because I used it last winter.
Yeah, I'm sure that chassis paint don't take that long.
No, the chassis black I've used, that like that you stick it on no matter what temperature, again it's fucking temperature between 10 and 30 degrees. 10 degrees, it's very warm.
Yeah.
It's mad how warm 10 degrees feels. Pull this up out. Yeah, look, they've got a lot more gunk on the end and a lot dirtier.
Yeah, the others is a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Oh. Voila. There we go.
Is there a gasket that sits around that?
No, I don't think so. No, you've got the drain hole there.
Yeah.
And that goes on, and then you've got a gasket there. Go. Good morning everyone, would you look at this, the sun is out today. I mean, I'm going to tilt the panel on the van before I forget because I keep saying I'm going to do that. But what a difference it makes to your mood. Got a cup of tea, hat on, and it's about -2 this morning, -3. And we got on quite well yesterday with the axles. As you know, Charlie came over. We painted the axles red first, using red oxide and the anti-roll bar. And then Charlie had some enamel paint, so I painted the drums in enamel paint so that when they get hot, it's a high temperature paint. So they're not rusty anymore because they were brand new drums and then they started to rust. I was like, damn, should have painted them. God, excuse the sun, I'm not used to it. What beautiful weather. Yeah, and then after that, we took the half shafts out my old axle to take the back plates off, which we found out you don't even have to take the drums or anything off. We just took the brake pipes out, left the handbrake cables in, and just took the half shaft out and then popped the back plate off. And then we put the old 208 brake shoes and back plate back on with the drums on and put all that back together, not with the new gasket or anything. I think I will rebuild that axle, put new bearings in it, redo the diff, obviously do the bearing in the diff, put new diff oil in it, and then sell it as a whole new axle. Or if the ratio doesn't work out on Rose and it's too low, because it is a low ratio, then I'll either consider getting 16-inch wheels for Rose off a G-Wagon or putting that old axle back on. But either way, one of them will eventually be for sale, but I'm going to refurb them basically. So there's another one out there for the T1 community. Then the last thing we did last night was remove the UJ, which you shouldn't really do. Let me just show you what happened, because I didn't film that because the camera died. Here is the UJ of speaking. What we did was get the angle grinder, which is over there, and just cut in there, straight down, and then you're left with the end piece, and you can just cut the two off again, and then just tap the caps out. And then originally, if you look at the other end of the prop, hard to see, but I don't know if you can see the little notches there. Originally, like some kind of perfectly fit socket or something with, you know, these like little dings would have pressed it in or been smashed in to make these little like bits that bend over and keep the cap in for the UJ. And when I replaced this UJ at Stonehenge, what I did is, as you can see by the marks, I got a cold chisel and a hammer and I just whacked some bits of metal over, and that worked at the side of the road. So if you ever need to change a UJ at the side of the road, that does work. So I will be buying another one, so I've got a spare, because this was my spare. But what I've done now is I've just put 2 tacks of weld on each one, and I made sure I packed these full of more grease. So I took the caps off, put a load of grease in, popped them back on so all the grease squirted out, and then wiped it off. Because when I did put some welds on, it kind of made the grease obviously a bit runny. So yeah, packed them full of grease, and now there's no movement side to side. I welded one side, and then from the other side I tapped it down so that it was proper sturdy, and then put the 2 tacks on, so there's no play in that UJ at all now. So that is spot on. I did see a guide that saves you actually welding to the caps. If you find a washer the exact diameter and thickness, then you can weld the washer in, which keeps the cap in. Kind of a better way, because that's going to be annoying. You'll have to get a grinder in there to remove the caps if you ever had to change this UJ, but hopefully that should last a fair few mileage. And then here is yesterday's brand new painted axle, and as you can see the sun's coming in the barn, which is a first. However, because it's -2, the paint is still slightly tacky, but I think I'll get away with sticking another coat on. But I might bring it outside first so it's in the sun. I know the sun's not very warm, but it's warmer than the shade, if you know what I mean. But as you can also see, drums are back on my old axle, because they are the smaller 208D drums, and they've got the original Mercedes shoes in with quite a lot of pad, but I've left them on so that someone, whoever gets this, can reline the shoes. So we're going to pick the U-bolts, the bearings up, and fit them tomorrow, and then hopefully the diff will be in, the axle will be in by Wednesday. But I do need diff oil as well, and that's only just been dispatched. So yeah, just waiting for things to arrive basically, but we're not far off getting it in. I'm going to slap another coat on this today, and then I've not got much else to do. Everything's kind of done, so I'm probably going to edit some videos today, which is a bit of a shame because it's a lovely day. And then here are the drums which I said we painted, which I don't think I filmed either. So this is just enamel paint, high temperature enamel paint, but in a slightly maroony red colour, but even though it's completely random, it'll look quite smart. Just behind the wheel you'll see like bits of red as opposed to bits of rust. And I didn't paint these faces so that the heat can transfer from the drum to the wheel, but this will be copper greased like it was before. Anyway, enough of me. I am just going to slap another coat on this, which is pretty boring, so that's probably all you hear from me today, because nothing's changing. And then hopefully at the end of today, we're leaving this out in the sun, it will be dried enough, and I'll slap another black coat on, and I'll probably film that one, because then the axle will be nice and black. I also need to stick some paint on the UJ end, because that's going to rust where I've welded it. So yeah, just some painting today basically. So I'll probably catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully, when we've got these wheel bearings, and we'll be fitting the wheel bearings to the half shafts. Oh, and I've also got the anti-roll bar to put another coat of red oxide on. Okay, so hello everyone. Today, oh fuck's sake, I had a right nightmare painting the paint, because it's just, oh, the red oxide didn't set, and then the chassis black paint is really solventy, and you try and paint it on top of the red oxide and it dissolves the red oxide. It's just a real nightmare. But yeah, that was yesterday, was painting that. I didn't film that. So yeah, a lot of this needs a massive touch up when it's under the van, but it'll do for now. The most part is painted. That's what it's like painting things in fucking January in Scotland when it's -2. But anyway, so yeah, that is the anti-roll bar and axle painted. Whoops! I have also painted these little bearing covers, the bits that bolt the half shaft on, with the bearing. That's what that is. So I think I might have to take this paint off so the gasket can go on there, which is fine. And I don't know if I'll have to take the paint off on that inner ring in there, because I don't know if, yeah, I'm not sure. See what Charlie reckons when he gets here. He's still here. He's going to be giving me a hand today fitting these bearings. And the other two things I painted was the top of the leaf spring, like round over things. Spreader plates. Went into town yesterday and picked up a few parcels. So I got U-bolts, and these ones, as you can see, are longer. and that is so I can add another leaf in the future maybe. Well, I probably will. I'm going to get them retempered and a leaf added on the rears. And maybe even after that there'll be a little space for a little 20mm spacer that I can put in there. But yeah, as you can see, there's the length difference. I may be reusing these rear ones by cleaning them up and sticking them on the front. Oh, as long as I don't lose the nuts. Yeah, because I've got 3 leaves on the front, I can't find the front leaf spring U-bolts. All I can find is 208 ones, which are slightly shorter than these ones, but for now I think these will do. Just clean them up and stick them on the front axle. I've seen a lot of the T ones, they've kind of got a little spacer. They go through over the axle, and then underneath the axle before the nut goes on, there's like a bit of tube over the threads and then a nut on the end because the U-bolt's too long. So I wonder if they're quite hard to get hold of, the front ones. Anyway, if anyone knows anything, drop in the comments below. So I will link this down below, and if you want in-depth videos, I'm going to be doing like how to change wheel bearing. Yeah, I'm going to be filming this in depth on the Mercedes channel with its own video. So, because this video I need to make watchable to the majority of people. So if you're interested in actually changing this, go watch the how-to on the Mercedes. But yeah, I bought the kit. So yeah, if you want to know all the in details, like what's in the kit and stuff and the links, go check out my Mercedes T1 Diesels channel, link below in the description. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed over there if you're not already as well. That would be massive help. I haven't uploaded any videos in ages, but I will get around to it eventually. I just haven't had much time. But yeah, I'll in detail show you all of this stuff. But for now, I'm going to wait for Charlie to pop over. I need to clean up the nuts for the bearing because they're all covered in diff oil and grease and dirt, and they've fallen in the dirt in here. So I need to clean them all up with some brake cleaner and a few other bits. But as I said, more detail will be explained on the Mercedes channel. So I've removed the O-ring out of here and the seal at the back by just tapping it out, as I said. And now I'm going to give them a bit of a clean up because one of them, this one, is quite rusty and seen better days. I'm going to give it a little wire brush and then some brake cleaner treatment.
Some 3 minutes. Remember what order it is now.
Yeah, so I've cleaned this up because don't paint the inside basically, just paint the outside. And that goes on there. So I think I've found that this is the same diameter as that. The other side of the inner oil seal. There you go. Just fit it on there. Nice. Simply slots over that. And then, right, so we have a bearing here heated to 130 degrees. So this will be the moment of truth. Is it hot enough? And will it just go over? One half shaft ready. Just needs a little clean up.
Clean up.
So we've got an old bearing and a race and a new bearing race, and use the old one to tap the new one in basically. So I'm just going to make sure this is clean. Maybe put a bit of grease on it and then tap it in. Got a little channel that directs the oil if the seal goes down and out through the little hole. Let's clean out in here as well. There we go. Okay, so we've just done the other side and got that back together. So next job is to get the back plate basically and clean it up a bit. So I just got the wire wheel on the drill and just cleaned up the old gasket in there. So I'm just going to quickly do that now, and then I stuck some copper grease on everything, ready to put it back together. Okay. And in the kit, as I said, we've got gasket, which goes on the little V, goes upright, because this 7th hole is the drain hole that I've done about. So it goes in like that, because my axle's on the squiff at the moment. And then in she goes. Oh. Make sure it's nice and clean where the bearing sits. And then it just slots on like that. Simple as that. Screw hole. There we go. And that is the rear wheel bearing replaced. Okay, so yesterday we got all of this together, as you saw, and we got that little brake line made up there, so that's all done. And then this morning I've just chucked this anti-roll bar on and it's ready to go under. But that is going to be for you guys next week's video when it goes back under, because this video is long enough. So if you did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned for next week's video.